and I'm trusting and praying that we do not have much ethnic fatigue in the room. And if we do, I'll have to shout to keep you awake. It's a wonderful opportunity to start with a question. What would be possible for Grenada if every single diaspora member, from Toronto to London, Brooklyn to Trinidad, Europe to Asia, just to name a few combinations, felt actively invited, equipped, and even eager to contribute to the Grenada you envisage as a country to retire to, or a country to prevent further interest in migrating from? What would be possible? That's not a rhetorical question, folks. We can surely make our own version of Singapore in this region. Now, over these past couple days, I am sure you've shared powerful stories, hard truths, and even bold ideas. I was following as much as I could. Now it is time to move from conversation, too much talking, to what? Commitment. Today's gathering is about seeking your active commitment to the development of the homeland. At long last, Grenadians are actually witnessing some direction and focus, owed to the power of visionary leadership. And what a wonderful time, I must say, to do so. In the midst of the geopolitical and geoeconomic turmoil that the world has found itself in, it makes it a convenient time for us to start looking inside out. Charity begins? Always. Always. You see, those who lack the courage will always find a philosophy to justify it. And that's according to Albert Camus, a French-Algerian writer. So happy am I to declare, just by observation, that we have no such people among us. This session is called Creating the New Steps of Collaboration and Integration. Not because the various panelists or panels have the answers, but because you do. In a moment, you'll break into your groups. That's why Ms. Etienne asked the folks at the back if you can find room on a table, because this session is interactive. Good? We break into our groups for group work, where each table will be invited to tackle 3 focus questions. Our time is limited, and of course, the overrun from the session before, coupled with lunch, precludes us from actually going too far beyond this afternoon. Because at this time here, we should have been wrapping up if we were on time. However, it's a new junket, so we'll have to do what we have to do. So because our time is limited, I want us to use every minute effectively. Yes, we are here to socialize and have fun, but we are going to succeed with our mission this afternoon. That is, to leave here with firm commitments as we seek to chart the next steps. These questions are: what does the diaspora actually need to engage effectively? How can you play a greater role in national development? So based on this entire forum, what are the top 3 to 5 priority actions moving forward? You're going to notice that you have a sheet on your tables with priority action, owner lead success matrix deadline, 1 to 5. You also have some sticky note stickers on your desk, on your tables. You don't? Well, look at me. I don't know where you're getting them from now. But maybe we can have somebody in the room share. Good? Just raise your hands. The table I don't have, but there's one here, yes, that nobody's on it. We'll capture every table's input in real time. Good? The comments that you will make regarding those questions, compiled and shared with all participants and with government partners post-forum. This isn't expected to be another talk shop, folks. You've had that the last couple of days. This is a working session leading towards turning talk into action through commitments. So those of you at the back, we are asking you to find your table. The first thing you do on your table, we are asking you to select a scribe, somebody to do all the writing. If you need any paper, please ask. I can give you a couple sheets from what we have here. You also have a running order, activity detail on your various tables, so you see how we're going to be using the time. After my introduction here, you'd see that we'll spend the next 23 minutes in group work. Each group will discuss the 3 questions in order. 9 minutes per question. The scribe will record key points on large sticky notes. Of course, the sticky notes you have there larger than the smallest one, but they're still small. Good. If you need paper, please let me know. But we'll, make what we have do. Yes. Yeah, I'll give you them because I have to give you some even suggestions to help you flesh out the questions. Good? When we've finished with that 23 minutes of group work, we'll have a further 10 minutes for us to walk around and see what the ideas are for the various tables, spending 10 minutes on point. And of course, after that, we will do a harvest and synthesis. Cluster the themes from sticky notes onto a master priority actions, flip chart. We don't have a flip chart here, but we'll find something, don't worry. And at the end, we will sum up the commitments. Good? So the questions again, let me just flesh them out for you. I'll give you some suggestions. And I'll be walking around with the mic. So if you have any questions while we're in session, I'll be glad to take them. But in terms of the question, the first one, what does the diaspora actually need to engage effectively? Try not to tell us what we already know. In other words, we know you need better websites, cheaper flights, faster passport service, improvement in customer service. Hello, we know those. So instead, we want you to focus on, let's say, what is one thing Grenada must stop, start, or keep doing to make you or someone else like you actually invest your time, your money, and your expertise back home. Isn't that comprehensive? Wonderful. We want you to be brutally specific. Name the policy, name the attitude, or the broken process. No general support. Give us the tangible barriers that you've personally hit and one practical fix. A lot of us tend to dwell in the problem realm. We want a solution. And you, with a fresh perspective, coming from the outside. You see, when you're living in a house that is fenced and the gate is broken down, that temporary becomes normal. But when a visitor comes to you, a fresh pair of eyes, they say, but you should fix your gate. And what you usually say, but in truth we? Because the temporary almost became permanent. And you stop see it. So we're depending on you to come with your fresh perspective to help us. We are looking for specificity, personal ownership, something that would make this mutually rewarding. As a little optional extra nudge here, think of the last time that you wanted to contribute, but you walk away frustrated. Write down that frustration. What would have made you stay? Because we know a lot of people who made an attempt to come back home. And they beat a hasty retreat because they just could not muster the strength, the courage to put up with the mediocrity that we seem steeped in. So a reiteration of the question, what does the diaspora actually need to engage effectively? How can we play a greater role in national development? Forget all the important, advisory role, remittances. Those we already know. And let me tell you something. Valuable they are. We already know those. So what is one concrete project, sector, or even community that you or your network could transform in, let's say, the next 12 months if the barriers were removed? Name the place, the people, and the resource or resources that you'd bring. Not tourism. Say, example, rebuilding the fishing pier in Sortes. That person from Sortes, huh? Not education. Say instead, coding boot camp for, let's say, 50 Grand Dance youth. Let's get specific. Be bold and tell us what would make that actually happen. We are looking for a named workable project, something that demands execution. We want to shift to the diaspora-led ownership that can be delivered in the next 12 months. Not a platitude like, we should partner more. We know that. And then the third question, to help flesh it out, based on this entire forum, all that you've been through for the week so far, what are our top 3 to 5 priority actions moving forward? You see, this particular question is designed to force prioritization, not wish listing. If you only have 1 year and a limited budget, for instance, what 3 to 5 actions would you actually fund, staff, and even measure? Not awareness campaigns. Instead, we want you to say things like, this is just an example. Quarterly diaspora town halls with the Prime Minister. Live streamed with real-time question and answers. Not policy reform. Say instead, establish one dedicated diaspora liaison desk in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs with a named officer and public email by October, for instance. What can we realistically deliver? And what must we stop doing and make room for those deliveries? You're also invited to edit down 3 to 5 actions. Each demand should have named owners, likely budgets and timelines, which imposes, let's say, 12-month limited resource realism. And during your deliberations on these particular questions, avoid the endless wish list, vague statements like, we should, lack of accountability, and even the conclusion that everything is urgent. We're not here this afternoon to be stressed. So everything is not urgent. Just let's prioritize them. So if out of your 5 areas, you could only save 3 of your ideas, which ones would actually move the needle on diaspora engagement by this time next year? You see how much we're looking for commitment? Action. And on your various tables, you see a sheet of paper, priority action, owner lead, success matrix, deadline. So you list them. This turns discussion directly into actionable output and readies you for your post-forum report. As I said, we will capture every table's input in real time. Those commitments will be compiled and shared with all participants and with government partners, post-forum. So let's get started. Do we have any questions before we move on? Yes? Oh, sure. The questions again. 1, remember 9 minutes each. What does the diaspora actually need to engage effectively? The second question, how can you play a greater role in national development? And the third question, based on this entire forum, what are your top 3 to 5 priority actions moving forward? Any further question for clarification? So let's get that lovely cacophony of sounds because you're working. You have 9 minutes per question. The last question, again, based on this entire forum, what are your top 3 to 5 priority actions moving forward? Okay? So let's get your interaction. And folks, just let me disturb you a little bit so that we can formally conclude the live broadcast for today. This engagement is not just about ideas. It's about you mandating us with your commitments. We will circulate these action items with your table notes attached to every participant and to the relevant ministries within 7 days of the completion of this Diaspora Forum. Engagement without ownership fades. So those cards that you wrote on would be your accountability. So we're asking you kindly to share generously and be specific. Thank you in advance. That's all right.